Hey, Coach, Doug Farnberg, the AP. What exactly happened in the end of that game there in the last second with the handshake line with you and Dawn?
I said what I had to say, and nothing. Nothing.
We'll come up to the front.
It's Aya Abdi for the 9450. So there are notable UConn alums such as Diana Taurasi, Paige Beckers, Maya Moore, and Swin Cash and Caitlin Chen in the house tonight. How cool is it to see the alum spread the love for the program and the type of program you've been building for last few years as well?
You know, that's one of the great things about coaching at Connecticut. There's such a passion for the school, for the basketball program. They come back every year. They spend a tremendous amount of time with our players. They are our biggest supporters. They stay Connecticut Huskies for life, and it's one big part of the thread that goes through who they are when they're at school and who they are when they leave, and I'm really proud of that.
We're going to go next, Jonathan, then to Annie. Jonathan, if you can raise your hand, we can get the microphone to you.
Jonathan Tannenwald from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Geno, it was 38-0 up to now, and people were starting to talk about 40-0, which you guys had not done in a long time. And I just wonder, I know there's a lot of heat in the moment right now, but how difficult is it for any UConn team, no matter the Stewarts, Moores, whoever, to go undefeated in a season?
Yeah, I was never comfortable with that narrative. People talking like that going into the season. I mean, in the middle of the season, trying to do that in today's day and age it's always been difficult. Don't get me wrong. We were an undefeated team one year, and when we got to the regionals, I think we had played 12 of the teams that were in the Sweet 16. And it's really hard. It's always been hard, and that's why I don't like the narrative November, December, January, February. I don't care when it is, because there's too many good teams left to play. There's too many big moments left to play in. The four teams that are playing here today, I don't know that you would be surprised if any of them won. It wouldn't be like if any of these four teams won, you'd be like shocked. So for us to be, viewed as they're going to go undefeated, nobody can beat them. This game's about playing the game you're supposed to play. And they played better than us offensively, and we held them to 62 points. And you hold the team to 62 points, you think you're going to win that game. And we just didn't make the plays that we needed to make on the offensive end. So all the credit to them for how they played and how hard they played and the shots they made when they had to make them.
Geno, Annie Costable, Front Office Sports. Dawn said post-game that the exchange had something to do with her not shaking your hand pre-game. Is that what you said to her post-game? And do you have any regrets about the way you handled that exchange with her and your communication about her to Holly Rowe in the fourth quarter?
I don't have any regrets about what I said to Holly Rowe. Why would I? Why would I? I've been coaching a long time. I've never had a kid have to change their jersey because somebody ripped it. And the official said, I didn't see it. There are a lot of things that happen in that game. Unless you're on that sideline, you have no idea what's happening on that sideline. No, for 41 years I've been coaching, and I've been, I don't know, 25 Final Fours. And the protocol is before the game, you meet at half court. Anybody ever see that before? Two coaches meet at half court and they shake hands. Correct? You ever see it? They announce it on the loudspeaker. And I waited there for like 3 minutes. So it is what it is.
Take our next question. If you can raise your hand, we can get right in front of you. She's ahead of you. Nope, you're up.
Okay. Hi, Geno. Maddie Penny with the New York Post. You said what you had to say. What did you say specifically?
Why would I say it? I said what I said. And obviously she didn't like it. I just told the truth.
We'll take our next question from Kareem. If you can raise your hand, Kareem, we can get the microphone to you.
Kareem Copeland, ESPN. Geno, can you expand on the frustrations of the physicality in the game that seemed to cause some of the tension that you had and the frustrations that you had?
I don't have a problem with the physicality of the game. I don't. I think the game is physical, and I think we're just as physical in a lot of ways as any other team that we play against. I don't know that we were as aggressive and as physical as we needed to be on the offensive end. You know, I thought on the defensive end we were. You know, you don't hold a team that's averaging 90 points in the tournament to 62 unless you are. So the physicality goes both ways. I don't have a problem with that. You know, and I guess we just weren't aggressive enough, you know, on the offensive end to match. You know.
We'll take our next question from the back.
Hi, Coach. Jesse Morrison, Arizona Sports. Going back to the undefeated thing, just do you wish you all had gone through a little bit more adversity this season heading into this game?
You got to run the race you're racing, you know. There's nothing you can do about it. It's not our fault we beat all those teams in November, December by 30. I can't tell them, hey, let's make the game close. So it is what it is, you know. We just weren't good enough tonight. It has nothing to do with going through adversity or no adversity. I've had teams come here undefeated and win a national championship that the game was over at halftime. About 38 out of the 40 games. So I just think you have to play good that night. You know, what happened to you along the way, I don't think that maybe has any bearing on it. At least it hasn't in the past. So, but who knows?
We can go to our left.
Chapel Fowler with the state. You talked about the handshake. There's pictures of you guys in videos pregame handshake. Was your frustration that it took a while for her to get over there, or was this a separate instance pregame versus the one that was on social media?
No, I think you missed the point of what I'm talking about. So I'd rather not go into it. Anybody that's been in the NCAA tournament, you know what I'm talking about.
Take our next question from our right, Coach.
Coach Brendan Martin, Arizona Daily Sun. Even beyond this game, UConn-South Carolina, you and Dawn have had spirited battles back and forth, just, you know, one team getting the better of the other multiple times. Just what is it about this matchup specifically that has been so sort of elevated, and just what is it about just the counter and attack and the attack that each you coaches have to do, and inevitably when it happens again in the future?
I think two good teams always. A lot of good players on the floor. Two games that, or a lot of games that you play that are really, really meaningful, that have high stakes when you play them. And I think when that's the case, I think it's going to be, you know, a certain intensity level to those games. And if it keeps happening, then obviously, there's going through the NCAA tournament at some point, you're probably going to meet them somewhere along the line, this is their 6th Final Four, and this is our 17th out of 18 years, so pretty hard to avoid them.
We'll go to the back on our left.
Hey, Coach Auriemma, I'm Christina Walker from Christina Girl Hoops TV. Despite the loss tonight, when you think about your team's journey from the beginning of the year to now, what's something that you're most proud of as it relates to your team?
Whenever you're going through a season, a lot of things happen. Some show up on game day, some don't. All the things that your team is really, really good at, and all the things your team is potentially going to get hurt by. And you try all year long to kind of cover up those things and hide them from everybody so they don't see them. And this team did a really, really good job of that. And they really played for each other, We talked a lot this year about coaches can only coach so much. And how they coach each other means more than what the coaches are saying. And I think they did a great job this year of coaching each other and getting the most out of each other. So I was really grateful for that, to be able to coach a team like that.
Want to stay to our left?
Hey, Coach T. Baker with the 9 Sports. Sarah Strong is a young superstar, just a sophomore. We've kind of talked about all year how she's cool, kind of, unfazed. How do you help her take a loss like this and kind of build some fire and motivation for, her next 2 years?
Well, sometimes we do forget, she's a sophomore and she's carried a huge load for this team. And an awful lot falls on her. Tonight, she'll be the first to tell you that she's not proud of how her game went today. A lot of shots that you've seen her make for 2 years so easily today didn't go in. And she still got her 12 rebounds and did all the things that she normally does and played 40 minutes. Bless you. And played 40 minutes. I don't think Sarah Strong needs me to put any fire or motivation or anything into her. We'll be back here next year, and she'll make sure of that.
We're going to take our next two. We'll go Michael, Mitch, and then the gentleman right behind Mitch. So if we can get a microphone up to Michael, if you can raise your hand.
Coach Michael Curatino, Sideline Sports. When you talk about the physicality, obviously, pretty much a game of heavyweight fight. You get up, they punch back. They get up, you guys stay in the middle of the ring and punch back. But defensively, more specifically in the second half, it seemed like they got you to rush a lot of your shots, and then when you slowed it down, took.
There's the drive. Speed frozen solid.
Mitch Northam with USA Today. I just wanted to get some clarity on the end of the third quarter because Sarah seemed to say that she made a mistake.
At the beginning of the third quarter, I think there was maybe 3 or 4 straight times. We'll be back here next year, and she'll make sure of that.
We're going to take our next two. We'll go Michael, Mitch, and then the gentleman right behind Mitch. So if we can get a microphone up to Michael, if you can raise your hand.
Coach Michael Curatino, Sideline Sports. When you talk about the physicality, obviously, pretty much a game of heavyweight fight. You get up, they punch back. They get up, you guys stay in the middle of the ring and punch back. But defensively, more specifically in the second half, it seemed like they got you to rush a lot of your shots, and then when you slowed it down, took a lot of the shot clock, shots were getting rushed at the end. What was just the challenge and how they adjusted to what they were doing differently from the first half?
I don't think there was anything different in the second half that happened in the first half. I think what happened at the beginning of the third quarter, I think there was maybe 3 or 4 straight times where we came out of there with an empty possession where we turned it over, and that led to some easy buckets for them. A lot of times I thought we had opportunities in our transition, and we didn't execute it. I think there were times when we were playing so fast that we couldn't take advantage of the opportunities that we did get. Now they did a good job of, I think, of making the game like that in the half court, and that's why I think we needed those opportunities in the full court in transition. And it wasn't the game wasn't played the way we want to play it. It was played the way South Carolina wanted to play it, and I think they did a great job of doing that.
Mitch Northam with USA Today. I just wanted to get some clarity on the end of the third quarter, because Sarah seemed to say that she made a mistake and ripped her jersey, but you're under the impression that South Carolina
she didn't
played
make a
it.
mistake. She said it was a mistake. She didn't say she ripped her own jersey.
Okay. And the video seems to show that she did, but you're under the impression that a South Carolina player ripped it.
No, I'm just saying there was not a single foul called on us and on them in the third quarter, and I got a kid that's one of the best players in the country and has got the ball a lot and is trying to get something done, and you mean to tell me there was never a time when she got fouled? Find that hard to believe.
Hey, Coach. Jeremy with The Mirror. There's nothing you can do to prepare your players for a moment like the loss today. I mean, it's undefeated season. You can work on professionalism and composure all you want, but there's just nothing like it. But I was still struck by the absolute professionalism in the locker room of your players right now, whether it be upperclassmen like KK or underclassmen. Obviously, emotional moment. Just kind of the reputation of your program is how your players carry themselves off the court. How much pride do you take in your players right now? Obviously, this is going to be a tough day, whatever way you slice it, but just in how they're able to carry themselves in these moments.
One of the things we said in the locker room when we got in there was there's nothing that I can say to a team that's sitting there losing in the Final Four that's going to make them feel any better, that's going to make it hurt any less. Nothing. It's going to be there, and they have to deal with it. We all have to deal with it. But I also said that, here at Connecticut, we've won so much that I think we know how to win. And I think we know how to win with class, and we know how to win with dignity, and we win with humility. We know all that because that's what we do. And you made a point to say yourself how we handle ourselves. But the true test is how you handle yourself in this moment, in the way they were in the locker room, and how they handled that moment. And I want always for our team to be able to handle both moments the exact same way, because no one's won as much as we have. And so when you are part of that, you have to be gracious in your losing. And I never wanted to be anything other than that. And treat people with respect.
We'll stay to our right.
Sports journalism class. As the winningest NCAA coach ever and being at your 25th Final Four, what keeps you motivated to continue coaching?
Well, after tonight, I don't know that I want to continue coaching. Somebody was reminding me earlier, I think this is our 25th Final Four in 36 years, since 1991. So we've been to 25 Final Fours since 1991. It's 25 out of 36. So I was telling my players that up until last year, I had lost more times in the Final Four than I had won. And that there's no stigma, there's no stain in losing. Because you have to be in this. And if you're going to be in this enough times, you're going to lose enough times. Okay? And so the motivation is to keep coming back here and trying to win it again. And once you get here, you have to understand that there's a high probability that you're going to lose. And you can't be afraid of that. And you can't put yourself in a position where, well, this is what a lot of people do. I maybe don't want to be in that position. Be frustrated.
Take our final two, Cassandra, then we'll go Natalie.
Cassandra Negley, Yahoo Sports. Early in the second quarter, Dawn got on the refs pretty heavily, and it looked like you came over and kind of asked if she's allowed to talk to them like that. I'm wondering if that fed into your frustration at the end of the game at all.
I just want to make sure there's not a double standard. I'm of the opinion that if I ever talked to an official like that, I would get tossed. So I just want to make sure there's not a double standard. That some people are allowed to talk to officials like that, and other people are not. That's it. So yeah, that was pretty frustrating.
Take our final question from Natalie. She's on our right-hand side, Coach.
Natalie Esquire from NBC Sports. Just to follow up on what you just said, do you think Dawn should have been tossed? And then my second question is, it seemed like in the beginning of the game when Raven was guarding Sarah that maybe that frustrated her a little bit. What do you think was effective about that game plan? Why maybe she got off to a slow start?
I don't think it's not my place to judge whether, any coach should ever get tossed. And I'm not suggesting that should have happened tonight at all. Not at all. I think as far as the game plan was concerned, I think, and we do this a lot, I think the more pressure, the more defensive pressure you try to put on the other team's best player, you're hoping that there's a level of frustration a little bit, and it starts to affect the way they play. And you saw the way, Sarah's stat line looks and what, how it went for her. And maybe if she was a senior, maybe she would go, I've been to a lot of Final Fours where this happens. This is the first time that it's happened to her. Last year it wasn't quite like that because, Paige was playing great, AZ was playing great, So it was the first time for her, and it certainly, I think it had an effect, and it was we would do the same thing defensively if I was them.